So, there was I. Depressed as always, now grinding all of the Sen no Kiseki games for the first time ever, and then I came to think to myself, these games, so far, are probably one of the best flawed pieces of media I have ever consumed. And then one thought led to another, and I thought about one other thing. That some of the best games I have ever played aren't really good. They are 7 out of 10s. You know, the cursed number that IGN loves. Just think about it for a second. Take a game like Rule of Rose. It's rated like it's straight up mediocre or trash, with arguably one of the worst tank controls the era of its time had to offer. So stubborn that the rage you'll feel could be justified. I haven't touched it in over 12 years. However, it is quite impressive how well imprinted some segments are in my brain. It's among the royalty of survival horror games, despite its many flaws. The cult following for the game is superb, and it's no joke so many creators have tackled it once or twice. And I want to pinpoint this. How does something so inherently flawed becomes a masterpiece at heart? Talking the GOAT, OG, Resident Evil 2, we can consider it to be the perfect survival horror gift. It bears all the jank and stubbornness of classic PS1, but being minimized and weaponized into a tight, rewarding playthrough. They can feel outdated for now if you are a retard, but they were a deliberate low-paying trade that amplified dread without causing frustration, resulting into a broadly acclaimed experience, achieving the status of one of the best of its genre. Rule of Rose has the same intentional trade of clunk for vibe, but a massive, immeasurable cost, both in gameplay as well as pacing, feeling like the game actively is going against you all the times and not in a challenging way, despite being on a PS2 hardware 8 years later. This creates real harmful friction and not a charming one. However, I can speak for the people who absolutely love the title, and when the game lands with its uncanniness and oppressive atmosphere, not sugarcoating anything, it will haunt you. It will go from something deserving of hate to something deserving the title of misunderstood art. These games I am measuring and making a video about are immortal, all the way up to around the 8th generation, when we stopped making anything meaningful. They had something special, they pandered to niche, they weren't homogenized and weren't scared to be borderline experimental, having wild traits of polish for presentation that killed through music, visuals, and vibes. They weren't afraid to be even cringe if it meant impacting you as the target audience. And if you need any more proof, just take Asura's Wrath. Yes, it is a 7 out of 10 game, but no other modern movie game title makes a dent on the quality of the OG. It is simply the best expensive movie game in launch to ever exist. While these tryhards flood you with constant Hollywood-style camera work and writing, Asura's Wrath just fucking kicks you off with the most hype shit ever. Motherfucker straight up throwing hands with the goddamn strongest thing in the universe to save his daughter by his sheer indomitable spirit. That is, if you buy the DLC to see that back in the day, otherwise you'd get a cliffhanger of an ending. Could you imagine this type of stuff being done today? Truly the 7 out of 10 experience. But never mind that, we'll just forget about it and remember how cool and unapologetic this was. And especially fun. It was really damn fun. One thing so many devs fail to understand is that fun is more valuable than perfection. Not that some of them understands what the word fun means anymore. And on further notice, how many other games can you call Asura's Wrath like? It's pretty much a one of a kind. It's like God of War, but on steroids somehow. And that uniqueness, that's where 7 out of 10s own you hard. For Honor launched, lived, grew up, and now it's on life support by only the biggest psychopaths maintaining it alive. It's impressive how unbalanced the game was back then when I played it. Filled with insta-kill, crowd control from hell, terrible matchmaking, a campaign, some reason. Actually, the story is really good and quite underrated, I'll have you know. God, don't be one of those people. But it still stands as one of a kind. You know, a Viking samurai knight game that I am not biased at all, as you can see, with gorgeous art and really cool mechanics. Nothing imitates it, because they can't quite capture what makes the game what it is. And so many other games falls under the same category. You wanna know another game with the same issues? God Hand. Dude, this game fucking sucks, bro. The camera sucks, movement hurts, level design is the most boring and generic as possible. But screw that shit, the charm is the star. It's full of 90s anime camp stuff, over 200 combos to play around, that borderline underrated OST, full of tits and somewhat gay shit. It's the best kind of ass game in its absurdity. They took all of which FGs tried with action adventure, especially Tekken 5, and made that, but good and bad at the same time. And you know, I could become a full-on tier list channel just off of games that come to mind and turn into a Watch Mojo like here, but I want to actually make a point out of this. However, I can't do that if I avert myself from speaking of one of my favorite game devs of all time, the secret fourth Mount Rushmore face of game devs that people neglect, Suda 51.
カルトオブラムには僕の大好物が詰まってます。儀式の生贄、動物の多重婚、そして排泄物の清掃命令を下せるってこと。10点満点。
God, he is literally me. When I say that soul is what makes or breaks games, this man is what comes to mind up front. There's a fine line between not trying at all and trying way too hard. And the funny part is that this handsome man nailed this decades ago. No amount of polish will make me forget just how much I love the button mashing, nonsensical, fan-servicey, and weirdly over-the-top vibe of Killer is Dead. I could talk about Killer 7 or No More Heroes or even Lollipop Chainsaw, but the truth is, KID is absolutely my favorite thing to ever come out of this genius's mind. The game is repetitive in absolutely everything, and it gives you arthritis over the amount of times it will make you push the same goddamn button. But look at this presentation. The art style and how beautiful these stylized visuals are. The gameplay offers some of the most simplified, mind-numbing, baby's first hack and slash tree you will ever see. But fucking hell, the game is the perfect amount of campaign length. It doesn't linger and ends on one of the biggest bangers of a finale you can experience. Something that was only sprinkled with suspense and mystery between all the main characters. The bosses are so hit or miss, and the amount of bugs and clumsiness is so fucking annoying. The game feels so rushed, it hurts my soul. And you can feel how much the team wanted to ship this as fast as possible, but damn, the fan service granted us some of the best character designs I have ever seen, aside from David. Many would call this as potential games. Like flaws make them unplayable or just plain horrible. But we all play stuff for fun, not to shield them, but to have fun with something that had something that stuck with you, or even stuck because it felt like it was made just for you. We're living in a polar opposite era where everything is either dog shit or perfect. If it's loved, it cannot be criticized, or if it is just slightly flawed, it is considered slop. And I might even agree with some of these, but as I mentioned early on this video, as someone who is experiencing the Kiseki series for the first time right now, I have to say that I love them more than Xenoblade 1, Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 10, or Fire Emblem Awakening, which were other JRPG games I have played, but funnily enough, I think they are a lot better mechanically than Sen no Kiseki. But Sen no Kiseki and the whole Legend of Heroes franchise is turning into my favorite JRPG IP ever, and even matching Metal Gear and Halo in my heart. There's something beautiful in appreciating something that isn't conveyed as broadly loved. And it's not because of perfection being needed, it's because intention always wins hearts. Where passion can be seen, love can be found. Or you can really love fan service like me, which is close to the same goddamn thing.